Hello, and today we are talking about all things geeky.
Welcome back to Just Three Brothers with episode 2.
We're back.
We're back.
Let's do it. Okay, so a couple of trailers have come out this week for Hellboy and X-Men. Let's start with Hellboy.
I think this Hellboy trailer sold it for me because the first couple that have come out, the teaser and trailer, I wasn't a massive fan on Hellboy's look. I'm still not a huge fan on. I think it's more the face. It's too monstrous.
Yeah.
Too heavy. But hearing more of Hellboy's sort of character come through and David Harbour talking, I was really sold on the voice and the action. It looks awesome. I like the fact that by the looks of it, he's actually going to go into hell, the demon realm, and take the fight to whoever's been calling him to take over the world.
Yeah, see, I wasn't sure if that was like a dream sequence thing, because you know how in previous Hellboy we had a similar sequence where he's brought destruction to Earth and he's got his fiery crown and he's got both horns now. So I wasn't sure if that was just another sort of dream sequence thing of being like, this is where you could be if you joined the dark side and stuff. But I personally am still really not sure about it, and I haven't been sold anymore on the new Hellboy. He looks monstrous, like you said. I guess it makes sense. He is a demon devil guy, but
it's too heavy set across the brow, I guess. Yeah. The problem is Ron Perlman just blew it out of the park.
Yeah.
As Hellboy.
But the thing is, I feel like Chief Hopper.
Yeah, David Harbour.
David Harbour. I feel like he could do it, but his face is looking really elongated, and I think that's putting me off
they've
whack.
put a lot of prosthetics on, which understandable, obviously, when you're playing a demon, but at the same time, Ron Perlman, who was pretty much born to play the role, they just kind of painted him red and let him get on with it.
Let him grow out his horns a little bit.
Yeah, let him grow out his horns a little bit and just had at it.
And I think also the other issue, which we've talked about as well, is his hair's down.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't think weird. Really helps the look.
But I don't think it is entirely down, because there's definitely like a little knot at the back. But
it's got like that kind of Ned Stark ponytail covering the hair thing going on.
Yeah, the ponytail I like to try and pull off on a regular basis.
Got yourself a sword and you're just like, how
about you?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of long hair myself as well.
And he normally has it up in like a samurai ponytail thing.
I'm not sure if it is the long hair which is throwing off the rest of the look, or
I don't think it's just
is other elements. But yeah, the new trailer looks wacky. You got Nazi wearing 3D glasses.
Yeah, they were a bit gimmicky.
And I was like, I'm 50-50 with it.
Yeah.
I love it because it's comic booky, but I also don't love it because it looked too vibrant. I don't know why.
Yeah, against everything else.
Yeah.
Really stood out.
My problem is the Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy movies aren't perfect, but I really enjoy the opening scene with the Nazis summoning Hellboy. I thought that was and it's going to be hard to top it, and seeing it in this trailer,
it doesn't look like
I don't think they do. I mean, I love that Clockwork Sandman sort of Nazi from the first film.
And it was very true to the comic as well.
Yeah, and they don't have that sort of going on. Really not into Ian McShane playing the professor guy, dad. Yeah. Especially after seeing John Hurt do it, and it was pretty much picture perfect for the comic. Also, obviously, you don't want to.
It looks like
copy it, but
they're replacing a lot of the other BRPD characters. Because I didn't see Abe Sapien, so I'm thinking they're not going to have this.
No,
I
think they got this.
I think they just trying to get away from. These are, as far as I'm aware, all characters from the comics. So, I mean, they are. But they're obviously getting away from the ones we know and used. Include, Abe and Liz and that. It's a shame, I feel like Abe is too important to not include. So they should have him, but I understand them not having Liz Sherman's character.
He's very much a parallel to Hellboy as well. Abe, who's quite reserved and does it by the book and all that stuff. And he kind of relates with their dad better than, say, Hellboy, who's the rebellious red. It's that red versus blue. Red versus blue, all that jazz.
Yeah, I know the focus of this film is based on the recent comic book series that Mike Mignola's brought out. In the comics, it's more about Hellboy kind of getting away from BPRD and wanting to be alone because he I believe he dies and then is kind of brought back.
Yeah.
And he's lost himself and he's trying to find out. And then what happens is this witch is resurrected by
the Blood Queen.
Yeah, the fairy tale creatures of England bring destruction to the world and put things right. Put the fairy tale creatures, mythical, the legends, the folklore back on top in the rightful place of ruling.
Yeah, like how the elves in their golden army were like,
exactly.
We deserve to be back on top because humanity's destroying the planet. So like the comics kind of follow on from there, because Hellboy doesn't die in the films, of course.
No, it's carried on. We never got to see the third Guillermo del Toro Hellboy film, which would have been...
It's a shame.
Like, I love... Guillermo has a great understanding of monsters and fairy tales. You know, a lot of his work is fairy tales, and it translates beautifully into this work. I'm not feeling it with the new one, especially the trailers. Like, there's some sick monsters. I love that.
I mean, I feel like they're keeping that aesthetic. It looks sort of very...
It feels like it's missing it
like
at the same
that
time.
giant monster, which is in London,
Yeah.
crashing things. I mean, I like the look of that monster. That's very, again, Del Toro-esque. But yeah, there's just something like... This trailer has convinced me a little more to see this film, but there's something missing still for me. It's a bit off-putting.
Like, I think I need to watch it a couple more times to really figure out if I'm loving it or hating it. From the top of my head, all I can think is like a lot of the scenes looked very blank.
Yeah, I guess we're not really going to know until the film comes out. But like I said at the start, I was a lot more sold on it as David Harbour. I just love his voice, and there was a bit more personality to Hellboy shown in this trailer. Yeah. So I kind of saw it and recognised that's my kind of Hellboy. Well, I look forward to seeing it just because Hellboy is such a badass idea, and the comic series created by Mike Mignola is just wonderful. So I'm happy to see him return to the screen, the big screen. But yeah, I really can't make up my mind until I see it.
I mean, I hope it's good. I hope it does well enough that we can keep it going and he isn't shelved for like another 10 years or whatever.
This could be the push that brings Guillermo del Toro's third Hellboy film into...
I mean, it's risky. I don't think that would ever happen now.
I think what you're going to get is Guillermo del Toro maybe making a film that's kind of similar in some regards. Like he's going to...
exactly. Like his Abe Sapien.
I want to do an Abe Sapien film, but I can't do an Abe Sapien film. That's sort of like, he's got his thing. He'll do it. He'll do something.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him come back to do another Hellboy film,
but
like from this. Like a David Harbour one. Like if this does well, and they're like, Guillermo's like, actually, I'll come back and I'll tell a different story, and I'm not tied down to what's happened previously. Like, I'm okay with that. I just don't think we'll ever get the whole Ron Perlman Hellboy.
Yeah, that ship has sailed.
Back, yeah.
Cronin back. Cronin. The Clockwork Sandman.
Okay, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain it starts with a K.
It's been so long since we've seen the film and read the start of the comics.
He was my favourite character.
It's badass.
It was great.
Design-wise, was aesthetically pleasing. The smoothness that he was just oozed cool. That sounds really weird. I got a real thing for smooth
gimp suits.
yeah.
Gimp suit wearing Nazis.
BDSM vibe.
I mean, he can bend in many ways, so
you can just wind him up. But I kind of like the. I was going to go with that.
I mean, nostalgia is
very strong with this film.
Strong with this film. Yeah, it's going to make it hard to move on.
Hellboy's also now got, for the Americans, an R rating, but for us it'll be a 15. So it's adding a bloody gory element, which who knows what that'll be like. You see a couple, if you've seen in the Red Band trailer, you see some guy getting crushed and blood going everywhere.
Kind of person in half.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna...
very Silent Hill.
I don't know if it's gonna help them or hinder them though. Like, it seems, it's all gonna be shitty fake blood, CGI blood, and it just seems like, you don't necessarily need it. I know there is a fight for R-rated superhero movies, and that's all good and cool with Deadpool and Logan and stuff, but I don't know whether it's going to be necessary for this Hellboy film and whether it'll
hinder it somehow.
Yeah.
X-Men? Like Dark Phoenix, new trailer, something else that is nostalgic. Because we watched the original X-Men series films.
Love the cartoon.
And the cartoon.
90s
Back in the 90s cartoon with that awesome intro
early
music.
2000s cartoon. X-Men
Well,
Evolutions as well.
I loved Spike.
That was brilliant.
It's from Evolutions, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, yeah.
I really
X-Men
want him
Evolution
to
was awesome.
Yeah,
be brought into a new series.
Yeah.
I don't think they will. But
They all went to high school together,
Yeah,
didn't
Spike
they?
pretty much just exists in
the series.
the series.
I think they tried to do him at some point because there is a sort of more porcupine-ish mutant character in one of the
Well, there's a
X-Men
character
films.
in Last
but
Stand
his-
who has like bones that he pulls out his skin and throws at people, which is about the closest.
We
I
got
think
two
they've
Spike,
got
yeah.
him.
Yeah, I
Spike,
feel
but-
like that was them trying to reference it. But this is like their second chance at trying to do Dark Phoenix storyline because time travel has
Yeah, well, time travel, more like reboots of the movies.
Yeah, constant.
Yeah.
Separate.
Which is a whole
timeline.
weird deal in itself because this is still from the First Class
yeah.
reboot, and they've sort of carried that on. I don't know, they kind of shot themselves in the foot in a way.
It feels like this is happening much sooner than it should do in regards to
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
well, it's
definitely.
now set in the 90s because every one of them jumps 10 years.
yeah.
So, you know, Charles Xavier hasn't aged 30 years this time
Definitely doesn't
period.
look it.
And, like, yeah, I don't know what age these young X-Men are supposed to be because Apocalypse was in the 80s. This one's in the 90s, so they're supposed to be 10 years older, but they're still being played by
Still
very
the
young
same,
actors.
yeah.
It's still
They haven't-
Sophie
They
Turner
don't
and
look like they've been
Ty
aged
Sheridan.
in any way.
No, exactly. And I don't think it would come off well if they did try and age them.
No.
But it's like maybe the wrong... Like, I'll give it a pass with, you know, Magneto and Xavier and Beast and some of those more original... And like Mystique, she doesn't really age that much anyway.
No, because she's got.
It's like
a
Wolverine,
slow-
Because of her power, yeah.
her cells keep regenerating. And yeah, I'd give it a pass for, you know,
Those
McAvoy and
characters.
Fassbender because I love them in their role. But
I
it's
mean, I
one of
think-
those things where maybe if you're doing it that far ahead, you should have just recast or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's annoying because I do love the characters, but by them jumping 10 years and further and doing another story, and this one's very sort of like cataclysmic. I mean, maybe it's just a way to get rid of a whole bunch of these characters that haven't aged.
Well, it's like their one last ride before, you know, Disney buys Fox and
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
they become part of the MCU and all that jazz.
big news. That all seems to be going forward quite a bit. I know it's like off tangent to, but one of the things that was stopping them was Brazil and Mexico weren't having any of it, and it seems now Disney have come to an agreement about sending off certain Fox assets to the.
It seemed to be
other
mainly their sports
companies, yeah,
channels
and
or
their
the
news.
Fox Sports, which is a problem they had in America, and then
Yeah.
they sold them off, and then it was the same problem in Brazil and Mexico and Southern.
That all seems to be kind of they've ironed out the kinks.
Yeah, because I don't think Disney really care about
No.
Fox Sports
No,
channels.
no,
They just want properties and
Yeah.
that. So I'm sure they're
Right.
fine to just be like, yeah,
Streaming
we'll sell
services.
them all off.
Yeah, talking
And,
about
so yeah, hopefully in the near future we'll see X-Men
Again,
absorbed into the MCU and Fantastic Four
with another reboot.
back in.
yeah,
Yeah,
which is exciting.
fun,
Yeah.
like because I have no doubt
it's
that they
just-
won't do a better
I
job
really
than what's
wanted
happened
to see
before.
more of Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy as Magneto and Xavier for a couple more films.
That could
Yeah,
still
I
happen.
mean,
it could still happen, but I feel like when you do a reboot, it's very typical
Yeah.
to you want to throw
Axe the
away the
cast,
old cast because otherwise you're being connected to that.
and you're confusing
And it-
people.
Yeah, it confuses and confines you in storytelling.
Yeah, it'd be hard to keep them on without any issues.
Yeah.
I agree. I'd love McAvoy and Fassbender, but then it's one of those things where it's like, do you recast them into the MCU somewhere else?
Yeah, it does
And I
free them
like-
up for that, doesn't
Like Fassbender could be Victor Von Doom and McAvoy could be Mr. Fantastic. You know,
Very,
you've got them in those same sort of roles of tit for tat. And
I wouldn't want McAvoy as Mr. Fantastic though.
No. But I would want Fassbender as Mr. Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom, he'd pull that off for sure.
His acting is just great in
I love him as
villains. In pretty much everything, he's got a great villainous
I'm still sold on the idea of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt being Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
That would be perfect, I think.
Got the
Rachel.
Wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they've already got the chemistry.
And hopefully this doesn't ruin it.
And after the success of Quiet Place with them working together, you know, you can already see that would be a strong possibility.
Quiet Place 2 being announced.
Yeah. Is there a Quiet Place 2?
Yeah, they're making an unnecessary sequel.
Oh no. No.
Just stop it.
This happens with every successful film.
Every film, they go, wait, we got something that can earn us money.
I think we already had a sequel. It was called Bird Box.
Does it need a sequel?
Come on.
It's like, does it need a sequel? No, but is it going to make us money? Yes. Yeah, so let's do it.
Just let it go. Come up with. There's more original content out there.
Yeah, that's awful. Is John Krasinski
is
directing this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would assume it's nothing to do with this family because you can't. You wouldn't want to carry that story.
No spoilers. I've not seen it yet.
You haven't.
Oh, you haven't.
That doesn't matter. Like,
I know.
I don't think whatever happened. Like, I'm gonna avoid the main spoiler anyway, but. I just don't think you could carry on with this family anyway. I don't know why you want to.
They find you via echolocation. That's why everyone has to be quiet. Don't tell anyone about that. It was secret. Bird Box, on the other hand,
was a
you
piece
can't
of shit.
see people, and apparently the creatures have no impact on the environment otherwise, except for the go rustle trees, but still.
Did you watch Bird Box?
They get leaves up in the air floating around.
Yeah,
I saw Bird Box.
Bullshit.
I thought I did not understand the hype. I don't see why people were saying it's terrifying. I'm really bad at scary movies, as you both know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time we tried watching Alien, I had to keep disappearing off making cups of tea just to get out of that room. It was horrendous.
It was hilarious though, because it was like any time it was a scary film, it'd get to a certain point and you'd just be like, all right, I'm gonna go make a cup of tea, and it's like. Okay.
I can't play Alien Isolation.
Oh, no.
I'm over the fear of Alien.
I feel like Alien Isolation makes sense as being more scary than films because you get such a more interactive experience and it's horrifying and I hate it but love it.
Yeah, I get sucked in too easily to games and watching films. Like I'm there. It's happening to me. And with Bird Box, I felt the suspension. I was right along in that car with them. The
4D
suspense.
Experience.
And it was tense.
You had to cover your eyes while watching it.
No,
like, oh my god.
I had to be there. But I really did not... It was an entertaining watch. And I like that they didn't reveal the entities.
It was to begin with, to some sort of level. But it died very quickly when it was just kind of like, oh, okay, now we're here. Oh,
it's the split narrative.
Yeah, they just split between the two timelines too much, and it was all pointless. I know.
And also, a majority of stuff happens in one of those timelines, which is the past. So, like, when it goes back to the future, you're just kind of like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you've literally taken me out of this.
Come to the end of the film.
Yeah, exactly.
And you get the reveal or whatever you want to call it. You're just kind of even more like, this was a whole bunch of bullshit.
It's like, just have one timeline.
Yeah, I saw that coming. But also, you know, they've gone upriver and all of a sudden there's this blind school in the middle of the forest that they stumbled across. I know people say, oh, well, it was a town that was overgrown. But I think it was 3 years, wasn't it? Maybe
5 years.
5 years.
That's not enough for that much growth to take over.
I mean, it is. But...
I mean, spoilers ahead. It's like, just how do you know? I don't think there are any spoilers by this point.
I feel like they had a few influencers on social media that just got out.
Yeah,
all these tweets and stuff, and then everyone just jumped on that hype train and they just went with it and were convinced. Yeah. Through these subtle hints of, oh my god, it's a terrifying watch, that yes, it was terrifying.
It's just
it's
that
amazing film.
Classic mediocrity. Right, it's just like it was so painfully average. It was just, it came out, it's Netflix, it's got Sandra Bullock and John Malkovich and Sarah Paulson in it and all that jazz, and it's just like, It doesn't make it a good film though. It's just
everything's predictable, and also immediately you know that everyone you see in the present timeline or past time or whatever you want to call it has to be dead for her to be alone.
Yeah, but twist.
So it's like, why the fuck do I care about any of these characters? Stop trying to make me care for this lady. I know she's dead. She's not in the future. Boom.
Is that you showing us the future?
Yeah. But the whole thing, like, I feel like the whole reason they did this timeline, you know, two of them at the same time, was for that whole twist where it's like, oh, you thought she was alone for 5 years raising 2 children. Twist, she was with that guy, Tom, I think his name was. They lived together for 5 years, and it was only 2 seconds after he died did we start this future timeline. Yeah. Boom, gotcha. And it's like, there's
also,
nothing.
It's still
no
stupid
cares.
It's like, she didn't name her children. 5 years. She didn't
boy
name her
and
children.
girl.
I killed them boy and girl because I didn't want to be connected. Look, it's been 5 years of survival. I think you would definitely have developed some form of attachment to the kids to have named them instead of just constantly being like, boy, girl. Also, the boy and girl, really shit. Clearly, they weren't raised in an apocalypse because one of them just fucks about and walks
They're
off.
always just
yeah,
walking
that's
off.
everything. It's as if she had a premonition at one point because the little girl gets up and says she's in trouble and walks off to go find them. It's like, how do you know? You're in a boat. She's up in the village.
Yeah. But also, it's like,
it turns out
you're
nothing special.
You know the apocalypse. You should know, stay where you are. You were told. You live in a world of fear and misery.
That's all you know.
You would not
That's literally
at
all
any
you know.
point go, oh, it's okay to think because it used to be okay. No, that's only like present day logic going into an apocalypse. You know?
Exactly. If it was like, oh, family from today has to adjust and they've got small children and it's hard for children to understand that suddenly the situation is very different and very dangerous and they're now making these stupid mistakes which would have never affected them before, but now it does. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit cliche, but it makes more sense. But yeah, if you raise children in this environment, they got to be special kind of stupid to...
Yeah, because that's all they know.
Exactly, yeah. They've been doing this since they were born, quite literally.
They know.
And
no
they're still
other
like,
way of
oh,
life.
I'll wander off and I won't wear my blindfold and all this jazz.
Yeah, I think it's a fallback of like these sort of apocalypse films where they just kind of like treat characters as if they don't know the apocalypse has happened sometimes, and it's like, this makes no sense. Yeah. Like literally no sense why you would react this way. It's only to create tension.
Yeah, exactly. Because the innocence of a child and you could be in danger, and within human society, that's gonna evoke some form of emotion and like, oh my god, fear for this kid. But really, in the sense of story,
it doesn't work. For me.
It doesn't work.
I see that, and I just go,
yeah, it's very transparent.
The kid deserves to die. Like, you go into an apocalyptic situation, it becomes back to the old ways of being like, it's like survival of the fittest. Darwinism.
What?
Darwinism.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you have to be intelligent to survive, and if you're not being intelligent because you're like, oh, I'm just going to go off and do this thing, I just hate it. I can't deal with it.
It's typical horror movie...
Forced plot points.
Yeah, it's like, oh, how do we get tension? Oh, we can be smart about it, or we can just be like, yeah, they're stupid.
Yeah, let's just shoehorn that in, and that's a bit of action, so then we can move on with the story.
And also, like, I think they could have done something more interesting with the monsters here, because it gets to a point in the film where you go, okay, the monsters clearly can't do anything, because they're not trying to force their ways into the house or any sort of environment because they have no physical form of interaction. Interesting concept and thing to deal with, but they don't do anything interesting with it. Instead, they go the boring, lame, expected route and go, oh, we're going to have a whole bunch of crazy psychopaths who are going to perform the physical aspect of this film and they can invade your place. And it's predictable, and it makes no sense why characters meet some random guy and go, oh, he must be fine.
Without really vetting him.
Yeah, like you look at him and you get the sense because he's a good actor, he's doing a good job in this scenario, but still, it's a
shame because it's a borderline cosmic horror, you know, H.P. Lovecraft-esque, interdimensional beings coming in, but it doesn't really go anywhere. There's no actual play with it, it's very standard. All right, we just got to keep moving forward and not really do anything interesting with it.
Yeah, and the Lovecraftian aspect did like intrigue me because it is, what is this thing that's so like horrific or beautiful or whatever,
something that they want to die,
you kill yourself.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept. It was just poorly executed.
And the characters
overhyped. Even like I feel like we caught it quite early, but it was still just so massively hyped up. It was never gonna live to that.
Our expectations,
which
are expectations that everyone should adhere to.
I mean,
it's a multi-billion pound dollar industry. You need to start.
It's subjective, but there's also objective abilities to tell what is good and what is bad. There are some qualities in everything that you can go, oh, that's quite clearly good. Doesn't matter. Like
I will say like what you like, and I have no problem with that. You can enjoy whatever within reason.
Just admit,
but it's like there is stuff that's obviously good or well made, and there's stuff that's bad and not, like The Room. You know, like The Room is thoroughly enjoyable and hilarious because of how bad it is. But no one's gonna ever be able to convince and argue that it's a good film.
Yeah,
it's just not, and it's the same. Like, Bird Box, you can enjoy it, whatever. I don't care, but it's not a good film. Don't try and argue that it's a well-made piece of cinema. It's not.
No, it's like you're welcome to appreciate whatever you want, but you have to admit in certain scenarios that there are these problems, or it's not good. It's just it's guilty pleasure. It's really enjoyable.
Yeah. Like, make up your own mind when you go to see these films. Don't believe in what other people say or critics. I know I've got a group of friends who often rely on going to Rotten Tomatoes and others, and they go, if it doesn't score higher than 80%, then the film's going to be shit. I don't want to see it. And I've often gone to see those films and thought they were fucking great, and loved them and enjoyed them. You know, it doesn't have to be Oscar worthy. It's amazing cinema. It doesn't have to be perfect. The whole point of movie is storytelling. The movies are storytelling, and you have to be able to enjoy it, take something from it, and go along with the ride. And obviously, sometimes you come out and go, "That was god awful," and shit. But other times, you just enjoy it for what it is, or you are blown away because it's an incredible film.
So, what are your expectations for X-Men: Dark Phoenix?
I wasn't stoked by the trailer. When I saw it, I thought it's okay. Yeah, it's nice. I love the X-Men. James McAvoy has really gone into the role of Xavier. He looks the part. It's brilliant. Michael Fassbender is Magneto.
Voice of
I don't know what to do.
Yeah. But it just didn't get me excited at all. There was nothing in it that grabbed me.
I'm ready for this chapter to end.
Yeah.
I mean, I've enjoyed the X-Men films since we were kids. Like X-Men 2, I still rate very highly, and is still possibly my favourite Marvel movie, and I still remember seeing it in cinema, and it was like the first film to include multiple characters that I loved
Colossus,
in one. Yeah, exactly.
Seeing badass
like he's in it for like 2 minutes, but when he comes into that room and he just fucking armors up when they try and shoot him with darts. And it's like, that was like a fuck yeah moment as a kid, because it was like, I love Colossus, he's cool, and it's the first time you see him, and then you got fucking Shadow Cat running through walls as well before she was Ellen Page, and you're like, sweet, all these characters, and
the X-Men mansion has got escape routes, and you get to see that they've planned for the inevitable. Say again, inevitable scenario that the government are going to come after him and try and capture these mutants, and they've set up backup plans to get out, and it was a nice element to see them getting out of there while Wolverine's just running around, taking out all these special forces guys.
I still love X-Men too.
Savage when he flies off those stairs, calls out China into 2 guys.
Striker!
Insane. It's brilliant. That was such a badass. I remember that film.
Yeah.
Just sitting there, mouth open,
Mystique giving the middle finger.
Yeah. She slides through those shutting blast
kid
doors.
Just be like, I can't do that.
Yeah,
I think like this new one, is gonna be. I mean, I enjoyed Apocalypse in a way. Like
I
feel like a lot of people hated it, but I thought it was enjoyable. It was entertaining. I have a sweet spot for the X-Men, but yeah, I mean, they sort of got off on the wrong foot in this reboot when like First Class came along to do away with the original X-Men, and they didn't go full reboot. They just they left themselves too much of a window. It was First Class, but it wasn't the First Class. It wasn't Gene, Scott, Bobby, and it wasn't the actual First Class. They just grabbed a bunch of B Team and X-Men like Angel, not Angel, but
the B
Zoe Kravitz character. I think she was actually called Angel or something.
But she's the B. Is she not?
She flies around and
spits.
She's got the
wing,
acid. I can't remember.
No, it's not Angel because Angel.
I know Angel's the wing guy, but I can't remember her name. It was something stupid.
Butterfly.
But
we're terrible geeks for not knowing
Days of Future Past.
That's the only one we can rely on.
I think Days of Future Past was awesome. Did a great job combining, twisting, rewriting the whole timeline and everything, etc. All that happened.
That was great. Yeah, that's where they bring in Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, exactly. And you got them both going
X-Men
on.
cast.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman.
That was awesome to see.
I'm going back in time.
That was pretty decent. I enjoyed that.
But then, and then like Apocalypse was okay, and now this new one, I'm just like, yeah, okay. I'll probably enjoy this. It'll be fine. I don't think I'll do anything amazing, and then it's about ready to put to bed, and let's give it to Marvel and let's get reset up because. Now with the end of Infinity War and Thanos and Iron Man coming along, they're probably ready to
wipe out those,
exactly.
They're first three phases of the Marvel stories, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and start taking it in a different direction.
Yeah.
Because with X-Men etc., you open
that's quite exciting.
door up.
I don't think it'd be that hard to reintroduce themselves.
It's time we put to bed this X-Men and Avenger films that we've had so far.
We're in the end game now.
We're in the end game.
Reference.
We need to bring in new players to set up some more interesting stories. Maybe try Galacticus again.
Yeah, that'd be
bad. Exactly. Bring in
because that's another great big villain, a world eater.
And they did a terrible job.
He came as a cloud. A storm. Space cloud.
I want to see a giant man in a chair.
Exactly. I mean, they've already shown us
into the surface of a planet.
They've already shown us Celestials in the new Marvel universe. So
and the Watchers.
Exactly, and they all look like they should do. So it wouldn't be that hard to just be like, and here's Galacticus, the new threat after.
And just as
and Apocalypse again could be brought back in later on down the line. You have even the mutants. If they had the X-Men, what I'd really love to see is them go full. Mutants are not allowed anymore. They're being ruled out and shipped away to their own island where they're contained with Sentinels, etc. And it becomes a post-apocalyptic world. What was it? Uncanny X-Men? Not Uncanny X-Men. X-Men. Oh, there was an awesome comic series. We've got it upstairs somewhere. It's been so long since I read it.
Is it Ultimates?
It could be Ultimates, where it deals with that whole... just watching the decline of society, and the X-Men are mutants, even though they're superpowers. Those with superpowers kind of turn their backs on half the X-Men and don't help them out, and they're then used to contain these guys and put them away. And Magneto creates his own sort of sanctuary where mutants again, and they kind of work in tangent with each other to take over, and then another world apocalypse happens and they kind of come out to help. It gets a bit crazy, but I could be completely wrong.
I don't know.
I might be mashing several different comic series together.
It sounds sort of like the actual Civil War comic where they try and, because obviously X-Men are actually a part of that in a way.
Yeah.
When they try and clamp down on powers, it sort of intersects. But I just think they need to. The main concern for me is I would want it to be as close to comics. I'd want them to retcon Wanda and Quicksilver, and that's something that's annoyed me for this Marvel universe. That they were like, oh yeah, they got their powers from the Tesseract stuff. It's like, no, just be like they maybe unlocked them, you could say, but Yeah, I'd rather they're still Magneto's
Marvel
kids.
Universe can't use the term mutants, can they?
No,
they
I don't think
use
so.
a different word currently.
And they probably can't use the X gene because that's...
Yeah, because I swear there was something else
at the
they
moment
addressed
they
them
can't.
as. So it also begs the question, if they do bring the X-Men into it...
Well, they can now.
Are they going to...
The only reason they wouldn't be able to is if Fox owned... I think what you're thinking is something like DC or... Marvel copyrighted Mutant. So anyone with superpowers as a mutant is purely a Marvel thing. So like DC can't do that. I think maybe that's where you're getting it from. And then maybe that did extend over into the fact that Fox owned the X-Men franchise and the Mutant franchise, that Marvel couldn't call them or use them as mutants.
Marvel split their assets.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially.
But now they have all their eggs in the same basket again. It'll be able to come back.
Yeah, I think it'll just be a little detail that's forgotten about. But yeah, I definitely, because the whole X genes, they hit puberty, and that's when the X gene awakens. They gain their abilities. So the whole Tesseract influencing them could still work. It just unlocked that gene inside them to unlock their powers, much like the X-Men. I was spinning out of control there. I was like, how do I end my sentence? That Marvel series. Everyone knows what we're talking about. I didn't need to keep spitballing.
Yeah, I want good X-Men movies in the Marvel universe. Seeing them play with a wider universe would be good.
Yeah, because it was great when they introduced Spider-Man. That was in Civil War. That was brilliant. Sony gave him back.
Is that like Wolverine's everywhere in the Marvel universe, i.e. he's part of the Avengers, so I feel like he should come back in and you can have him bouncing around movie to movie.
Do you think they're going to replace Hugh Jackman when they do it, though?
Yeah.
They'd have to.
Because...
Like, there's no question.
Although there was something...
It's just there's that thing where people have always been like...
No, because Hugh Jackman retired anyway. Yeah. Logan already said it was his last movie.
There was something on... was it Twitter or Instagram recently showing Hugh Jackman working out again? And a speculation went, is he going to be reprising his role? Just even for a little cameo or something. It got a lot of internet
I could
rumors.
see him cameoing as Wolverine in Deadpool 3 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not coming back as Wolverine for the Marvel series. That's
done.
Not going to happen. He's 50-something. And
he went from being your average looking Wolverine to absolutely ripped.
Yeah,
man.
Wolverine, which is just insane. Yeah. He was younger. And then
in the first X-Men, Wolverine looks like a bitch. Compared to Wolverine in other films.
Yeah, which is insane. Absolutely insane.
No, I mean, I'm ready. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Did a great job, and it's been a bit hit and miss here, but I'm ready to see someone else take on that role and bring it to life.
It'll be hard. Speculations as to who might take on the mantle, because I would call it a mantle. That's a lot
of people say Tom Hardy and stuff, and I would be okay with that. He's obviously got that raw savage power element of as Bronson and Bane. You can see him getting, the Cray twins. You can see him getting ferocious and tearing people apart. And he's kind of short. I don't know how tall he is, but he looks like he's a bit shorter than your average movie star. So
I think you
Tom Cruise want Cruise as Hugh Jackman.
I think you want someone completely different, someone unknown to come in, because
I think the best Wolverine thing for them would be an unknown, like a younger actor who maybe you have seen in something, but is I agree. Maybe Tom Hardy is too big at this point, and I still think he's looking for a role to really be. Because he's been Bane and he was willing to reprise his role as Bane, but that's never going to happen. He's Max, and hopefully we'll get a sequel to Mad Max, and we'll see him in that again. But that's obviously not a constant thing for him, and I feel like that's half the reason he picked up Venom. Is he wants to have that iconic recurring role that he can be. So I could see
he wants to be part of the series.
I could see him easily latching on to something like Wolverine. I mean, I thought Venom was overrated as well. But
thinking about it now, I don't think he actually really has a series, does he?
No, man.
Because Hugh Jackman, obviously Wolverine.
He's got Taboo.
Tom Cruise has got Mission Impossible. plus probably a couple other films. Mission Impossible is his main thing. You got Vin Diesel with Fast and Furious now, and he had the Chronicles of Riddick, which I'd love to see.
Yeah, and The Rock's a part of Fast and Furious and stuff, and Jason Statham's Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
Fast and Furious is so many. I'm surprised Tom Hardy isn't a part of that.
The new one, Shaw trailer that came out recently, looks ridiculous. Idris Elba's got superpowers now.
Well, that's the thing. We were watching it. I knew it was Fast and Furious. Bradley didn't. Bradley thought it was a Fast and Furious-esque superhero film. And I was like, no, this is actually in Fast and Furious.
People who did Fast and Furious. And I was like, that makes sense. They have a lot of money. They can do whatever the hell they want.
But it is. It's like Fast and Furious are creating their own superhero, which, you know, that's what their films have become anyway.
Much,
so
they're so over the top now. And it looks like it's going to be hilarious.
Dude.
I haven't been a fan of I haven't even seen the last Fast and Furious. The one before that, I was like, this is a bit too much. But
the entire Fast and Furious series, because it has ramped up to a crazy place.
It's just insane.
And I'm just like, what a weird journey you've got to go on to go from here to Idris Elba is a super soldier. Superhero.
Well, they're very normal, semi-serious films for at least the first four.
Yeah.
And then they just suddenly go. I mean,
let's put it into fifth
gear.
They
brought on The Rock, and he is an actual living superhuman. So he just advanced that series into.
Dwayne Johnson, we love you.
Yeah, Black Adam.
I think. That should be good. Hopefully, we'll get some of that. But yeah, I think for Wolverine, you need some relative unknown who can really sink his teeth into a role and because obviously they're gonna have to sign on for a 10-picture deal.
Now, and you're all the actors in Marvel as well got the shit film. Yeah, Tom Hardy, you need a series.
Bring Fassbender back
to get something
as Wolverine. No more Magneto. He would be great. I love Fassbender in any role.
And again, he's another person. Dr. Doom, and I'm really excited for that. He is great as Sinister, but somewhat you go, I feel a bit bad for him. But also he's evil.
But I feel like Fassbender's another person looking for that series. I mean, that's the only reason he could have done that awful fucking Assassin's Creed film.
Well, and Alien.
I mean, I still like Prometheus, and he's a great David. He's the best part of that. But yeah, when it came to Covenant, that's a piece of shit.
Covenant, they just lost it completely.
They had potential,
where they were going,
but they squandered it. They threw it in the wrong direction and was like, "Hey, do you guys like this?" And everyone was kind of like, "This is also not what we asked for."
Yeah,
and
bring back. I wanted Neil Blomkamp's version. That looked like it was going to be greenlit.
Yeah,
and it was in talks, and Ridley Scott kind of just. I felt he went, "No, this is my franchise." And no one else can be a part of it anymore.
And then the studio was also like,
cut it down.
We'll give you your franchise,
people
but we
liked
want to
Aliens, and that upset me because I didn't have that much control on Aliens.
Yeah. And
I mean, there's only
he's just kind of now.
It's again one of those franchises where Alien and Aliens are great films, and then the rest are haven't seen in a while, but
they've got cool concepts again. But
I still prefer Prometheus over.
Neil Blomkamp was going to do a direct sequel to Aliens, forgetting whatever's happened since.
Yeah, that probably would have helped.
Seems quite a regular thing at the moment in Hollywood, which is why he's now moved on to doing a direct sequel to RoboCop. Looking forward to more information on that.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get around to talking more of that. But I was thinking for Wolverine, Liam Hemsworth. That's the least known Hemsworth brother, isn't it?
Well, Luke Hemsworth's the least known.
Luke Hemsworth.
The Westworld one.
He should be Wolverine. Because imagine his interaction with his brothers for...
He's got the bulk.
He's got a bit of a weird...
it's just, look. I feel like he needs some loving.
He's the least loved.
He's
the least one that anyone knows about. I messed up his name. So...
Well, no, you just mistook him for his younger brother.
Who's more popular and well known.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't remember him. I was just picturing him from Westworld being like, that's the only thing I can think he's from. Which probably... Maybe? No, it can't be the only thing it's from.
Home and Away.
Well, he's in Neighbours.
Neighbours,
that's the one.
Probably.
Not Bad Neighbours, not the Zac Efron.
No.
As in the Australian
TV show.
Well, every Australian gets into. Margot Robbie, Chris Hemsworth, they're all on their shit.
It's their platform.
What about Jason Momoa?
He's got his DC.
I think if Aquaman wasn't as successful as it was, he would have probably been ready to jump ship.
You could cut his hair though, because like that's kind of.
I mean, I feel like they just let him be a long-haired Wolverine. Yeah. I'd be fine. Like Jason Momoa, if he was Wolverine, I'd be fine. I'd
be fine with it. It's just at some point I'd want to have him have short hair just for a short period where you get the little pointy.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd let them do that at some point.
And you can't do that with long hair unless you're gonna like
really stick him out.
Look weird.
Yeah. There's not much point talking about it though. He's not ever gonna be Wolverine.
No. Well, I was gonna say following on from and on that DC talking Aquaman,
Batfleck is gone.
He's out of there.
And now we've
been
got
known for a couple of weeks now.
Matt Reeves taking over direction.
I'm quite excited for this because he did a Dawn and War of the Planet of the Apes, which I absolutely love.
That was a great reboot franchise.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
The Planet of the Apes reboot for me is the pinnacle
success.
Exactly. I don't think anything else is actually as successful for me as a reboot / remake series.
It's just also a fantastic example of a good trilogy, which builds on the previous one and adds more emotional impact to
and it's still like, I don't know, I feel like
before, and it's just
it was successful enough to get a trilogy, but it's also still not talked about enough to me. Maybe it's just like because I love it. Like literally, they're some of my favourite films in the last 10 years. Every one each time it came out was just so amazing. And
War for the Planet of the Apes
so
blew
much
me
better.
away.
Yeah, exactly. Like Rise, I was like, oh, this is like I just didn't expect it. You know, Rise, I was just like, wow, they've done a really good job. They've made it smart and simple and makes sense as to how this came about. And then you get Dawn, and it's like, oh, this is again a very different thing, but you understand where their conflict begins, and then it comes to War, and it's like now you see the simian disease in the developing, and you're taking away the human voice, and they're like regressing almost, and you start to see the build up, and I would still love for them to actually end it on a remake of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, because that's what was great about that franchise, that they ended it where it could clearly move on to what the old Planet of the Apes films were. You can understand.
And you saw
it links into that nicely.
Yeah, it's the relationships that are built up between man and ape that also really would help moving into this next one of being thing. And in the background, it's mentioned that they launch a ship into space and it goes missing. So it's like, give me the fourth film. Give me Planet of the Apes.
Give me this second trilogy. I want the next trilogy happening.
You give me so many more Planet
The Forbidden Zone was once a paradise.
You blew it up. You blew it all up.
Goddamn dirty apes.
Get your stinking paws off me, you goddamn dirty ape.
Brilliant.
Matt Reeves has got a pretty solid background in my eyes anyway, that I'm comfortable with him taking on the Batman franchise and the Batman.
And hopefully he has an understanding of Batman and doesn't kill.
Exactly. It could easily be ruined if, again, they do what every other
studio comes in and
movie maker has done, with the exception of Chris Nolan in large, that Batman doesn't kill.
He tried his hardest. And, I'm sure you can look at Chris Nolan's and goes, well, he killed someone here. But
there's that bit in The Dark
Knight
where he drives the tumbler into the garbage truck, and the garbage truck clearly smashes into the ceiling of that underpass. That I'm like, you cannot pretend that he did not murder that driver.
It turns out the airbags in those things are fantastic.
They got crushed just perfectly. That it formed a casing around the
he actually
driver.
analysed the situation, and it just went whoosh, flattened in front of him. So he was just stuck in an upright position. He was fine. But,
I mean, Batfleck... I enjoyed Batfleck.
He was supposed to be a more grizzled, older, worn...
Yeah, he looked good.
Dark Knight.
He was dark.
The choreography of the fight... Like, that warehouse scene, aside from him,
killing people.
Killing people, slamming boxes into people's heads and breaking necks and whatever else, and shooting flamethrowers so they explode. And running people over and stuff. Aside from that, that scene,
blowing up cars with his fucking.
That scene is good, and Batfleck, and what they did, it's the most comic accurate in a way where he's flying around the place using his grapple hook to zip from area to area, and he's doing what to us would be considered superhuman, but in you know, a world where Superman exists, it's still very human.
Yeah, it's just peak physical.
So yes,
fitness,
exactly. It's that it was very comic-y. It's just it was ruined by the fact that he was going around blowing people up with his tank
and burning batarangs into their.
Well, I was fine with that. The branding of
branding,
someone is like, to me, the furthest extent of Batman going to his darker side without killing, because it's his one rule. You shouldn't kill.
When you say there's an old grizzly like veteran Batman out there who's gone over the edge a little bit, I don't expect him to suddenly be killing thugs and he's still not killing the Joker. But like if you say he's going around branding, like okay, that's a terrible thing to do to criminals who knows what situations going on in their life to cause them to do that. But like I can give it a pass as like that's him being like, I'm not fucking around anymore. I'm gonna burn you if I've caught you. And
although the one thing I never understood about that in the film is how they're like, people with it get killed in prison. It's like
it's only in the extended cut.
In the extended cut. It just doesn't make sense to me in general.
It's like half the people in the prison
put away by Batman.
In Blackgate or Arkham
you're
will be
clearly
because
still
of Batman.
A criminal. It's not saying you are Batman or you support
if anything,
Batman.
It should be a badge of honor that you've been burned.
You fought Batman and been branded instead of running away.
So that part of it
I never got that.
Really annoyed me because I was like, that makes no sense. If I got branded by Batman, I don't think I'd go to prison. People are like, hey, you support Batman? And it's like,
I don't know if there was
unless I have a tattoo of the bat symbol.
I love the Batman.
Saying I love the Batman because Batman knocked me out and put me on a chair and just, slowly inked it into my skin.
I don't know if there's supposed to be some element of snitching involved where it's like brands you if you tell him some truth, but then it's like, why would he do that?
Because then he's kind of saying, signing their death warrant.
Exactly, and then he's also being like
a killer,
avoiding any possible future where you might get someone to convince them to tell him some truths. So, I don't know. It was an odd choice. I don't mind the branding, just the whole
killing.
The killing and the branding is leading to prisoners being killed in prison. It's like, unless they were trying to hint that it was another Lex Luthor ploy of being like, he's hiring thugs to kill branded Batmen in prison. But it's a bit weird.
Wasn't included.
That movie's a bit of a mess.
It was definitely a lot more still cut out from it, even in an extended cut, I feel.
The extended cut explains a lot and makes it a much better film-wise, but it's still not good enough.
It's not enough at all. The one thing I did like is Batman's suit. The shorter, pointy ears.
I'll miss that from Batfleck. I think again, he looked like him. It was good. This suit was good.
And just It's hopefully they carry on with how they made the suit. I don't know what they did.
It was like a
way
weave.
They did the weave, and they also kind of printed in the muscle shapes and stuff. You get it with people who buy the costumes themselves.
It was more like the classic cartoon Batman and stuff, and the comic Batman where he's just a grey suit or a black suit with the logo and a cape.
I don't know if it'd be better or worse for them to keep with that suit, just to be like, we've replaced Batman, but it's still Batman. It's an easier way.
I don't know. I think they're going to have to change the suit slightly.
Justice League is wearing a different suit anyway.
But
that's an armor.
What's really strange for me is watching this film with Batfleck made me not dislike Christian Bale's Batman because I think he did really good, but I disliked his suit. It made me really hate it all of a sudden.
I feel like you could say that of any suit if you look back, really. You got bat nipples.
Bat nipples.
And then even Michael Keaton's
rubber
armored,
shelled.
When he's armored, it's just like this weird plate. I don't know.
Ab plating.
And I love the Keaton Batmans, except for him killing in them. But
he sets a clown on fire with the.
It's just for me because it's like Batfleck was a pretty darn good Batman, but the story they gave him and made the film end up being quite bad. Whereas Christian Bale, really good story, really good Batman. But his suit just really puts me off slightly.
The thing is, you got to remember is
something so little.
It's a plus and a minus for Chris Nolan's universe is that he wasn't making a comic movie. He was trying to make Batman real.
Yeah.
He was being like, okay, what if some billionaire actually did this? With exceptions, obviously, but you know, the Tumbler was supposed to be a functional like machine and thing. And yeah, his suit, you know, he addresses it. He's like, "Oh, I want to move my head in the Dark Knight," so he changes his suit.
The first Batman suit is a bit more of a classic version along the lines of Keaton, etc. And then Dark Knight was the first time a Batsuit ever had a movable head cowl. You could turn his neck for once instead of doing turning with his whole body, which is quite a cool thing, you know, in cinema history of Batman. To finally have that after the amount of films that they brought out, and you know, I guess the TV show you can't really count because it was cloth, so you could turn his head. Yeah, that was quite a.
And the other one was animated, so they could do anything.
Yeah, we could do it.
But talk about the animated.
Imagine if
I'd
they
like
didn't
to
vote.
see.
Sorry, imagine if with the animated series they still kept the thing where he turns his whole body. He can't his
just
turn
a
his
really
head.
lazy animation of just going pose to pose, just turning his shoulders.
Oh.
But what I was going to say is what I'd love to see, and we've again discussed this in private amongst ourselves. White Batman eyes.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
I was
Like
literally
Deadpool
about
has
to.
proven
I was
that it
literally about
works.
to bring that up. The one thing I really want from this Batman film and every Batman movie going forward, and every appearance of him in movies going forward, is give him his fucking eyes.
Yeah, man.
Like Deadpool has proven it can be done.
Yeah.
Like to huge success. Like that movie wouldn't even work if they didn't give him his like eyes.
Yeah.
So it's
it
like
looks
just
great.
do it.
Just,
Batman.
it will look amazing.
Batman is superbly iconic for that look, and yeah, it will look so much better than.
Blacking up
Yeah,
the eyes.
just
underneath.
oh yeah, like it's not his eyes, and then yeah, you can see they've clearly got eyeshadow or grease paint or whatever, and it's never addressed except for in Kick-Ass, where they fucking have Big Daddy doing it.
It's quite a comical idea to think that, you know, before he goes out and puts the suit, you know, the cowl on, he's blacking up his eyes and getting that spot. And a great moment, Batman Returns, when Michael Keaton rips off that cowl, that rubber head protection,
rubber.
where he's got black rings around his eyes,
and
he
it
takes it off, and all of a sudden
wipes off his eyes.
He put some
he's
baby
Bruce Wayne.
wipes in there as well. So that
The only
as he
thing,
pulls it off,
the only
it
thing I can
cleans it.
imagine, I mean, because that happens with Bale's one as well, I'm sure. But the only way I can imagine is these suits have like mini spray paint canisters in around the eyelids. So as he puts it on, it just sprays up his eyes. And then there is a series
I forgot to close
of
them.
baby wipes within there. So when he peels it off, it wipes
Baby
off
wipes.
the thing.
Yeah,
That's
just
I mean, he is
that's the only way
Batman.
that
He is
works.
Flaps
prepared for
underneath,
everything.
just white flaps.
Yeah, little
underneath.
window washers. Just you can take off your mask now. But yeah, just give us the white eyes. That's what I want. That's the main thing I
looked
want
brilliant.
from a Batman movie. Because Deadpool does do it so well.
Arkham Batman fighting style, which was kind of done with the Batfleck, that jumping around combo hits and swiping with the cape and
Grappling
beating the
hook.
shit,
Yeah, exactly.
grappling,
And like, yeah, that movement, that mix up of all different styles.
feeling a bit more like a martial artist who's got skill.
Yeah, who's practiced
Who's
in
trained
multiple
around the world and
disciplines.
is like the best in hand-to-hand combat, varying
On who
on
you,
story to story and who you're talking to.
yeah, because not all Batmen are great at fighting.
Well, in the
Hand to
comics they are.
I mean, in the comics, yeah, but I mean, like,
I just want Matt Reeves has talked about how his movie's going to be more of like a noir detective, and we've never really gone that detective side of Batman on film, which I'm excited for again. If they because there are so many sides they've never really.
do you think they're going to
Touch
try and do
upon,
something like a Sherlock
like-
Holmes detective style?
I mean, maybe I don't think it'll be quite Sherlock Holmes.
Dear Robin, what do you think of this?
Cloth on the side of
his Element.
cheek is.
Gunpowder.
Yeah, that's slow discombobulated.
I mean, I kind of would
I
enjoy
would like
that.
that, yeah.
I wouldn't hate it, but we watched Tag the other day and they include that, and that's pretty funny. Jeremy Renner doing that scene to avoid being tagged. But Yeah, like I'm looking forward to seeing the other sides of Batman that you don't get to see because I mean, the most detective work you've had before is him trying to find the Joker through a shell in a wall and recreating the fingerprint.
But also the time where he goes to Scarecrow's house and he is there and is looking through pictures and he finds whatever.
Yeah, I think he maybe does a bit more in Batman Begins and
yeah.
But there's just not, and I think it's the sort of stuff we've seen on movies so far is what led to the Lego Batman being made, and that stereotype caricature of him that is sort of in the public eye mainly now. But I'd like to see that sort of scientist, smart side to him, that detective side, because in the comics, he's building all his own equipment and or vehicles and stuff. Or he's getting help with Alfred and he's getting help from Lucius Fox and everyone else, but he's still there making it himself. And the most you get is like he fixes up the Bat Pod in Dark Knight Rises. He gets that flying again, and then in Justice League or BVS, you have him and Jeremy Irons as Alfred, sort of working on the certain parts of equipment, but it's not touched upon. It's like just in the background.
You see him like obviously spray up his armor in Batman Begins, and he makes the batarangs, but that is literally
literally.
And in BVS, I mean, he makes his suit that he fights Superman in. Like he makes that, but it's like
computer screens in where he gets all the sonar locked.
Well, he sort of gets that from Fox.
He gets it from Fox, but then
he gets the
also
equipment
does
from
his
Fox.
own
He just sort of like
Fox
links
then goes,
it together.
"Oh my god, no one should have this power." And it's like,
that's
why I'm giving it to you.
Actually, something I'd like to see a bit more of a Batcave action, like Keaton, where he spent his time in the Batcave and he's got that sweet ass desk with all the screens. Okay, it's a bit stalkerish because he's constantly, what is it, Vicky Pollard in the news reporter.
Vicky Vale.
He follows her around. But I'd like to see some more Batcave kind of stuff. That's what the first Bat stalking. Yeah, the first few films did really well. Another thing,
some great Batcave action would be cool.
Because you don't really you see him
like,
discover
it sounds
the cave.
stupid, but like, I mean, I don't need him to find the cave again, but like to have the cave and like have just little hints of the giant penny and the dinosaur in the background. Like, just give him some sort of like token memorabilia that's you can hint at has happened previously in his life.
What we saw with Batfleck with the costume.
Matt Reeves?
You have the Robin thing, but it's like,
it wasn't enough.
And again, like, I want him to have sidekicks. Like, give us Oracle and Nightwing.
Yeah.
And then maybe eventually lead into a Robin. I want them to start with Oracle's out there and Nightwing's out there. Jason Todd's probably already dead. And then they'll introduce Tim Drake.
It'd be good. Another thing, when we were talking about the detective side of things, that I wanted to make this point. I'd like to see him do more of the disguise, going undercover.
Yeah,
don't know
Matches
if you remember.
Malone.
Yeah.
When he goes and he does all those little weapons deals with the underworld of Gotham to get information. I'd like to see a bit of that disguise. I don't know if it works so well, but even just a hint to that's how he goes about some of his business would be quite cool.
Because that's my point. In the comics, there's so many sides to Batman where he is doing more than just being
Batman.
Arrogant.
He's just like, because every movie it's like, he's an angry rich boy whose parents died and he just goes to the street and beats up a bunch of poor criminals.
And then pretends to be a playboy.
He's arrogant all the time. He's always just like...
And he's like, I can do this alone and I'm the best and all this jazz and I'm so cool.
There's no one else out there.
And I'm lonely and I'm a loner. But it's like, I mean, he has a family in the comics that he's adopted pretty much and grown from. And he does detective work and he creates and builds things and he tries other ways to help society and all that jazz.
He's actually intelligent and quite normally sympathetic. He only puts on the arrogance as a play for other people to see.
Which I think they got pretty well in the Nolan universe. They address that very clearly, where he's like, I have to act up to being this guy. But there's a lot more.
There's a lot more to it.
I love Batman. Batman's my favourite character, like comic character, and just in general, I love Batman. I just wanted to see done like true justice. He's more than just some brawler who's just punching people.
At the very least, I want the no kill rule to be brought to
that
live
needs
action
to be
because
really
it is
hammered home.
such an integral part of his character and story, and it's what separates him from so many other superheroes.
And it's what makes some of those hard decisions as well when he confronts villains.
Yeah, is why doesn't he kill the Joker? This guy's a homicidal maniac. He is human, and like Batman has fought super powered people, but like
fought Darkseid.
Yeah, fought Darkseid, and in all scenarios he can't kill. He doesn't kill because he knows that would make him no better than them. Whereas we get all these other superheroes who can kill. They never say they will kill, but they can, and they typically do, and they will cross that line. But it's never talked about. It's not a thing that they care about, and so it's never addressed. Like Captain America kills, probably. Spider-Man...
But yeah, you see him in the movies just shooting people.
Kind of probably kills as well sometimes. You gotta think about things. But it's just that thing. Batman doesn't kill. It makes him interesting.
It is an integral part of his character, because if Batman kills, there's no Joker, there's no Two-Face, there's no Mr. Freeze, Penguin, there's none of his rogues.
No.
And there's especially wouldn't be any rogues beyond their first appearance. But they're not interesting in their first appearance. I mean, they are, but they become interesting where it's all this whole thing where it's tit for tat. We got Batman, breaking out, convincing. Yeah, the best stories all from this.
But it's so juicy.
Yeah, with Batfleck gone out of the picture now, who's going to take up the cape? Who would you like to?
That's what we got.
See, because there's been no news
we got to work out
as to who's going to be taking on the role next.
There's been a lot of speculation. Tom Hardy. Hugh
I'm
Jackman.
I'm sorry, I mean I'm Batman.
Put Hugh Jackman in it. He's not Wolverine anymore. I don't know. Like apparently, Robert Pattinson was being looked at to be
a younger.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. Matt Reeves as Batman is apparently it's apparently away from the DCEU currently.
Yeah.
Whilst they're sorting themselves out, and it's maybe a prequel to what has happened if they decide it fits into BVS. So they're going for a younger Batman. So yeah, Robert Pattinson, he could work. I like him as an actor. I think
mentally though, for me, Robert Pattinson reads more as a Batman of the future kind of guy. You know.
Yeah, maybe Batman Beyond. I'd see him maybe more as like Nightwing or even Jason Todd. Yeah. Like fit those in there. He's a bit younger, but I think he's a good actor. Like,
there's no doubt about that.
He hasn't been able to escape Edward Twilight, unfortunately. But well, to the wider audiences, because he's doing a lot of small indie mainstream. But if you're watching those movies, he's proved himself like a lot, and I think he could do it. But don't know if I'd want him to do it. He's better than other options out there, but not the pinnacle. There's Joey Lawrence. I've heard is
Joey Lawrence.
Yeah, he's been
trying
to rally.
I don't recognise that.
He's trying to rally. Like he's got some petition. He wants to play Batman, and his fans want him to play Batman. Or like 500.
This rings bells.
It's the guy who's I can't remember what the show is, but with Sabrina. You know the actress from Sabrina Teenage Witch, the 90s one. They're in that show where he looks plastic. Joey Lawrence. I do not like it at all. That would never happen.
I saw something about this recently, and
it's been online.
When I saw the picture of him,
it's just
thought, no way, this is
absolutely not. No offense, Joey.
Yeah,
like
I just can't see.
Oh,
what?
Oh hell no!
This is come across it.
Yeah, no, I know the guy.
Like
he's too plastic. Like unless we're making a film where
Plastic Man, maybe give it to him. He could be Plastic Man. He's got the cocky arrogance as well, by the looks of it. But
grin.
God,
I'd like to throw in
Billy Zane.
I'd like to see Billy. I'd like to see Wes Bentley. I think he's got very much the look. He's slightly younger. He's
that was
he's the guy in Interstellar.
Chris Nolan's choice, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was the first choice.
Batman after.
He's Interstellar as the other scientist who gets wiped out on the water planet.
The one who dies immediately.
But
I do.
I think he's got a great look. He's
from
got
American
Beauty.
Eyes. I don't know. I haven't been.
Yeah, he's the guy with the camera.
Plastic bags.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's two things he's been in. It starts with American, because American Horror Story as well.
Yeah, he's also in that.
Which is...
And Hunger Games.
And Hunger Games.
But that doesn't start with me.
But I think I don't know, to me, he kind of looks...
See, I was going to say maybe Adam Scott, because of Parks and Recreation, where he buys his bat suit and he comes out and it's like, no, yeah, he actually looks kind of decent. Like, if you actually suited him up.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, but that could trick you.
I'm take it off can his hair do anything other than what... Like, because, like, his hair is always kind of...
Batman's hair doesn't mesh. Shave it off. Like,
no, but it's when he's playing Bruce Wayne, because, you know, you got to play both sides of it. And I can't imagine him
I don't think I'd ever actually want Adam Scott, but maybe. What was it? We're talking about... I know, it's a tough choice.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm awful with names, but I can see faces... in my mind, and I'm like, that could work, maybe, but yeah, I know. He's got like the chin. He kind of looks like
he looks like a comic
Henry Cavill.
He kind of looks like the comic version
of Batman. He looks a bit evil though.
What about Henry Cavill as Batman now?
Yeah, but that's the dark edge to him. That's the darkness of Batman. The slight evil look. You don't know. But he could get the rough, rugged look.
I think he'd be great in Batman somewhere, no matter what. Like, if he is... Like, he'd be a good Two-Face, like, for sure. Or even the Joker.
I'm just sold. You see him in the suit with his hair back and the chin, and it looks great. And then you see him a bit rough, and you could see his version of Batman when he's down and out. Like, Robin's been killed, or he's up in the mountains training, getting that rough look and still pulling it off.
We were saying recently, like, thinking Max Greenfield. Yeah, Schmidt from...
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, man.
Could kind of
that'd be quite a fun
that
option.
off. It'd be interesting. Like, I don't really know if you could pull it off, but
I feel like you could do the Bruce Wayne because he looks good in a suit. Like, that's for certain. It's always one of those things. I'm never sure. Like, the jaw is always important when it comes to Batman because you have to have.
I mean, ultimately, when it comes to being, I think Batman's the easier part to play than Bruce Wayne. I think you need to be because once you're Batman, it's mainly the suit, the fighting, the CGI, and the stunt. Men doing the work that Batman really needs. Yeah, I mean, exactly. He looks pretty Bruce Wayne there. And
if we're going for a young Bruce Wayne, Ben Barnes.
I saw that mentioned. He's a Jigsaw.
And
he's supposed to be Jigsaw.
Yeah, he's supposed to be
Punisher. Maybe he looks just too skinny. I couldn't see him ever
he could
bulking up to the size you need.
Yeah, but I'd say the same thing with Robert Pattinson. I can't see him really bulking up.
Yeah, I think he's already a bit bulkier than Ben Barnes.
But also, would he be able to do it anyway because he's owned by Marvel essentially for the Punisher series?
Punisher's been cancelled.
Yeah, but I feel like they might still kind of be upset.
And if you've seen it, then you know he can't come.
I know, but
he's not owned by people can move in between.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes,
if we're saying Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr., no, obviously not.
They're tied down contracts, aren't they?
But there's that one guy who plays KG Beast in Batman vs Superman, who's also in The Winter Soldier. There's like the Russian Noel Fielding lookalike.
Oh yeah. That's that guy. What about him as Batman? What about Noel Fielding as Batman?
He's too old.
Too funny. Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult, maybe. I do like him.
Zac Efron.
Too young. Like, I'd like to see Zac Efron be like Nightwing or even Jason Todd.
Yeah, he could definitely.
Like, I think he's great as like the boyish sort of charming sort of guy who he hasn't really gotten back to since whenever.
I was going to say he's gone through phases, hasn't he? He had a High School Musical. And everyone was like, oh God, no, not Zac Efron. And then he kind of proved himself as this sort of serious lead, romantic choices. And then he's gone into this funny period where he's just this comical
he's done fun.
Frat boy.
Yeah, he's done enough. I like him as an actor. And I think he could be Nightwing because he is,
he's got that
sort of charming, playful guy. You know he can get into shape. Then after seeing like Neighbours and that bit where he like freaks out and gets mad, I'm like, he could also do Jason Todd for me. Like, I think he's got that like edge.
Ultimately turn into Redhead.
Yeah.
Is it Red Hood? It is Red Hood.
It is
isn't
Red
it?
Hood.
But ultimately, for
mistaking that as
me,
the guy
what I would
who
love
had
is
the red. You know,
Well, I mean,
that's because
that-
it is
that-
also
that's-
Red
it's
Hood.
also Red Hood. Yeah, who turns into Joker
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah.
Jason
Or does
Todd
he?
becomes Red Hood because he becomes what he fears, and he fears
Yeah.
the Joker
Yeah.
/ Red Hood.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would kind of like Zac Efron as Nightwing and then Shia LaBeouf as Jason Todd,
Yeah,
Red Hood.
He's got that crazy.
Because
I
I
want
want to
Shia
see
LaBeouf in
Shia
more
LaBeouf
films.
being crazy in films, and like I think Shia LaBeouf would be a great Jason Todd.
Yeah.
I could see him going around
Shia
killing
LaBeouf could
people,
do-
Yeah, definitely.
fighting
great.
Batman,
Then
fighting
get onto a
Nightwing,
motorbike and ride
getting
off.
crazy,
Yeah.
and then
nuts.
and then
Let's
some
get
sort of
nuts.
redemption arc where he's like becomes a sort of normal human being again.
Yeah,
And maybe
Man, I'm
we'll
actually-
just fix.
I'm
Shia
just sold
LaBeouf
on
now.
that straight away. I can see him taking up the man.
Shia LaBeouf is a good actor, and I think he needs more roles and to come back a bit.
He
on
just
some
went
of that.
a bit over
Yeah,
the
he's
edge
he's
with-
had problems, and he's
Yeah.
doing
But
whatever he's
that's
doing.
what you get
but
when you're a young actor. You've seen it in the part. I think
Yeah.
he just got pushed too much and
what
Holes
about
really did
multiple
it for him?
directions.
what about Macaulay Culkin as Batman?
No. I could see him as Joker. He's got
that's
that
mean.
fucked up look. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
wow. You look like him, so I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah. Hey, I got called Heath Ledger, and I wasn't sure whether. I mean,
What about Heath
well,
Ledger as
Ledger's Joker. We'll resurrect him.
He's a little stiff these days, but
No,
Damn.
leave Heath
How
out
about
of this.
how about John?
I love him.
How about John Hamm? as,
R.I.P. Ripped.
John Hamm? Yeah,
Everyone
as
calls,
Batman.
everyone's calling for John Hamm. I said this before. I haven't seen him in enough. I haven't watched Mad Men to really like have an
I
opinion
liked
on
him
him.
in Baby Driver.
yeah.
Yeah, I like Baby Driver.
One of the guys at work, we had a discussion about this, and he really wanted John Hamm to. He reckons he was born for the role
Yeah.
of Batman.
I think if you're just trying to replace Batfleck, then John Hamm would be a good role. He slots in as like, you know,
Kevin Spacey.
an older version of the Batman. Like he can, I'm sure he'd be able to do that well. And he's got the obvious Don Draper as Bruce Wayne thing going on.
Yeah.
I like maybe like Ryan Gosling, if they're going younger.
I was quite literally just about to say Ryan Gosling is another name because young, he's got
'Cause
the quietness to him.
He
that
might be my
Batman
favourite
sometimes.
actor at this moment. And like, yeah, he does that whole silent, violent type from Drive to Only God Forgives to then, like seeing him in Blade Runner 2049. I'm just like, fucking love it.
Yeah.
And like, he doesn't quite have the look I'd expect from a Batman or Bruce Wayne more specifically.
to be honest, George
but-
Clooney didn't have.
No.
I mean, yeah, but I've never
Or Val
liked
Kilmer.
George Clooney.
But
I always
do have a
liked
soft- I
Val
have a soft
Kilmer.
spot for Val
I
Kilmer.
like Val Kilmer
Yeah,
when
he's
he
good.
was
Val Kilmer's
Batman.
got a special
Never
place in
liked the
Point's
George
heart.
Clooney, but
No.
Val Kilmer.
yeah, I
place.
think obviously you can pass him off as Bruce Wayne because he is already charming, rich, attractive dude. And yeah, I think once you get him in the suit, no matter what, he'll be Batman.
And also, we know he can get pretty fucking ripped.
yeah, he's I'm sure he.
I'm sure he could maybe
Is at
even
the
bulk
moment,
up
probably.
a little bit more than he is now if you wanted him to look a bit.
Yeah, and he'll take
bulkier,
it
but-
seriously as well. Like, I'm sure he'd be serious about it. And then, you know, he can have fun with it because he does fun movies like The Nice Guys. And
Yeah, and he does his SNL skits.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I'd really
has-
enjoy.
He has a good
Seeing
amount of
Ryan Gosling.
intensity. Like, with
Yeah, he'd
eyes
bring a
alone.
lot of intensity.
So
to that
it's
role.
one of those things where it's like if you couldn't do the
Yeah,
white
but we don't want
eyes,
to give him eyes.
I
We
know,
don't care
but if
about
you
it.
couldn't do the white eyes and you had to
can
give
do the
him
white
his
eyes.
normal eyes,
Gonna give him white eyes.
he can
he
act
can
through
give
his
it.
eyes.
He can
act
give
through
the
his eyes,
intensity
so.
through the eyes. He can do it all with no talking. Just looks at you and you're like, I get it. I get what's happening right now. I'm getting branded.
I'm about to be brand. I'm okay with that.
I'm
It's
okay
Ryan
with
Gosling is Batman.
He communicated through his eyes.
He told me this is what's going down. I'm just gonna let that happen. All right. What about Jake Gyllenhaal?
Same sort of like intensity going
Yeah.
on with him, and I love his
For me,
work.
he's very like on level like with Ryan Gosling. They're very
Yeah.
similar in a way. I'd say Jake Gyllenhaal looks a bit more like how I'd picture Bruce Wayne, Batman being.
But now he's part of the Marvel universe, so
I mean, yeah,
it'd be
he
hard
is
to pull away from that.
Mysterio. However, as the villain, you're never going to be that
Locked into
important.
contracts.
And
Particularly
also
in Marvel. If
Marvel
anything, they're probably going to kill him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I
Like
think they're
Ultron and
trying
everyone
not
else.
to these days because they've listened to fans being like, "You just kill everyone; it's boring."
Yeah, you kill off all your enemies instead of having.
But yeah, the
Come
Vulture survived. Michael Keaton's Vulture survived. So
Yeah.
I'm sure Mysterio will live on, but
It'd be
it's
cool to
one of
have a
those
massive
things where it's
villain
like
team
I
up at the
don't
end,
think
you
it
know?
will stop him being the Batman if they wanted him and he wanted to do it. However, if he did become the Batman, I could easily see Marvel being like, "Oh well, Mysterio's not coming back, or if he is, he's been recast."
Yeah.
However, I don't think they should. I'd much rather see Jake Gyllenhaal do Batman than Mysterio. Like, I don't care about Mysterio.
Yeah.
No, it's cool that he's entering into the Spider-Man world.
Unit, yeah, exactly. When people wanted him to be
being
Spider-Man,
superheroes,
but he
and I
missed
think
it.
that's also just a general good sign for an actor who could possibly go on to be Batman. You know, it's someone who's already trying to enter that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It shows a willingness. No, he's sort of like, he bounces around. He does, again, serious, like, he does Prisoners and Nightcrawler,
Yeah, the
which
indie
he's,
films.
like, great in. And then he does A Prince of Persia, which isn't successful,
thing.
but it's a bit
That
of
was
fun.
again. That was him trying to find a franchise.
But it's, yeah,
definitely.
it's
It's
him,
a guilty
like,
pleasure. I
it's
will
him.
admit that.
It's good. It's
It
fun.
shows a willingness to branch out,
It
do
did better than Assassin's
less
Creed, in my
serious.
opinion.
Yeah, it's, I
Creating the
enjoy
game
Prince of
as a
Persia.
film, so.
Yeah, definitely. If you were to compare those two, I haven't seen Assassin's Creed, but even from the trailer,
so
I just-
bad.
and
Yeah, I
from
didn't
what
wanna
people
watch
said,
it, but-
It's like, oh my god, I will avoid that unless I'm really bored one day.
Yeah, I think I'd really like Jake Gyllenhaal or Ryan Gosling because I like them as actors. And
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal has a huge variety of performance skills because, as you mentioned,
Prisoners,
Nightcrawler, which I loved Nightcrawler. Like, it really shows him as a sociopath.
Yeah, he'd be a great Joker from Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler, yeah. And we watched Velvet Buzzsaw recently, which
Wasn't that good?
wasn't that good.
It's not down to
but
Jake
it's not down
Gyllenhaal
to
and his
Jake Gyllenhaal
performance is
because
fine.
I
It's
think
just
Jake Gyllenhaal did a good
Yeah,
job.
he
I was
plays his
saying
part
that.
well.
He does a very sort of like
he
good
convinces me
Andy
he's an
Warhol.
art dealer, but
almost
that film in general I didn't think was any good.
No, which is a shame because the trailer looked interesting
Yeah,
and cool.
yeah.
But
Again, it's
Have-
another good
I haven't
concept.
seen it. No, I've seen the trailer. It had me intrigued.
yeah,
To me, it's
concept.
another Bird Box. It's a good concept, and it's just poorly executed. I don't know what Netflix are doing with their films.
I think they're just grabbing any
they're just
chance
missing.
of property and outputting just as much as they can in the hope that something will be successful. Look at us, look what we're doing. They are filling a hole in the market at the moment, which is bringing out original, diverse films
Yeah,
to audiences. Hollywood's really missing that. They're constantly rebooting and making sequels and just going, this is successful, we're just going to carry it on. No, we don't want that, bring something else out. Whereas Netflix and Amazon Prime, essentially as well,
Yeah.
the streaming services are seeing this hole and answering those demands. They're just not doing it very well.
no.
But still love Jake Gyllenhaal. Think he'd be a great Batman, and this new Batman film is it's got
It's
got stuff to live up to. It's got potential.
It's exciting.
Like Matt Reeves, like the detective thing. We don't know much else about it. Don't know what the villains are going to be. People are talking about Penguin maybe, and
I'd
Ewan
like to see
McGregor's
that.
now the Black Mask in the Birds of Prey film. So
Who knows?
It'd be
maybe.
great.
yeah,
So,
I mean, what
put
villains
him
would
in.
you want? I don't know.
Mr. Freeze. I'm always a fan of Mr. Freeze.
I want a new
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze.
But I think that'd have to be the next film. I don't think you could start off with
No.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
It's too
I
high
think
concept.
if you're going detective story, you want to keep it
Yeah.
with your penguins, your Two-Face.
Well, then
I was
going
gonna
back to
say-
the original Red Hood, maybe.
I was going to say.
I think because it's
since
too early, it's
watching
going to be before.
Gotham, I'd like to see Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter, being used because that's a sort of it's a kind of detective storyline. And, you know, he starts kidnapping people and Alice and all that stuff. There's a weird madness element to it, so you can kind of go comic booky with it due to the whole
Yeah.
thing. And there's some visuals there.
Like for me, if Batfleck was still around and this was that movie, the perfect story would be a mashup of Death in the Family and the Red Hood.
Mm.
Like I would have loved them to do sort of what they did in the Arkham game, that Arkham Knight,
Yeah,
where you play the same story of you see Jason Todd being younger, then getting tortured and killed by Joker, and then reveals into the Red Hood story. Ultimately, that's a movie I really want to be made,
yeah.
but it's not going to happen with this Matt Reeves one. So I'm thinking detective story, maybe keep it with the Penguin and, you know, Two-Face and someone like Jervis Tetch as the Mad Hatter would be cool.
I want to see Riddler done again.
Riddler, done properly.
Clayface.
Clayface is one I really want to see on film.
Because, I think he's got like a lot of Batman's villains have almost tragic stories of how they turn into bad people.
Yeah, definitely like Mr. Freeze especially.
That's why I like Mr. Freeze so much. It's brilliant.
Zaz not so much, but
actually,
I kind of like to see Zaz
actually,
as
I would love to see Zaz. If they're going to do it, maybe have Zaz, because he's one we haven't seen at all, aside from briefly appearing in Batman Begins. He's supposed to be the one when he walks in and like blows up that one of them's supposed to be Zaz. But I'd love an actually like a Zaz story would be good. Riddler's sort of story. Yeah, I think keep it lower street level.
Yeah.
And then ramp it up.
Yeah, just for now. And then build to your Mr. Freeze and get back into crazy like Clayface stuff. I'd love that.
I don't know how you can work it, but since playing Arkham Knight games, Calendar Man.
The Long Halloween. Long Halloween as a thing would be great,
There's an interesting sort of concept and character there, and he is taking the piss out of it. He's kind of funny. But
if you had it where it's like this guy's a joke and like he's been a joke in this universe for a few years, and then suddenly boom comes along, it's the Long Halloween, and you know that's the Long Halloween story. Cool. But it'd be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. It should be good.
Yeah, there's a lot of room to play and to bring something new to the table.
Batman has a lot of stories which are detective stories, not just running around beating people up. So bring some of these into live action. And that'd be fantastic.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing
I don't know
who
what's
Batman
going
is.
on, because Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movies coming out at some point, and who knows what's going on there and how that fits in. I don't want
anyone
that at
really
all.
wanted that, because I definitely did not.
Don't want that at all.
No, I'm interested to see what happens, because it's interesting, but
no one wants a definitive Joker story.
No. There isn't one in the comics. Why should there be a film?
Literally, the closest we've gone is his like, I'm the Red Hood, or am I? Like,
exactly.
I can't
There's
quite
always
remember. It's still
tilting of the scales.
Or is he just fucking with you?
Yeah.
Which is what was so good in The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's Joker.
It's constant different stories. Do you want to know how I got these scars? It's brilliant. It's constantly changing. It's like constantly changing. It was two different stories, but it was enough to put that depth into the character.
Exactly. It was that thing where it's like you heard the first one, you're like, oh, they've given him a story. And then you hear the second one, you're like, fuck yeah, that's the Joker. He's just like, it doesn't matter who I am. And it's going to be hard to ever top that.
He was the best Joker in my opinion, besides Mark Hamill as cartoon Joker. Everything else,
and even then, it's just been so iconic. I remember seeing it when he first pulls off the mask, and it's like, what doesn't kill you makes you stranger, and then the whole like, da-dum. It's like, fuck yes.
Yeah. He committed to it, and he did a fantastic job at representing madness, chaos, anarchy, and also the Joker.
Yeah. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, you guys haven't even seen Aquaman yet, have you?
No, I've heard people really like it.
It's good. It's a bit choppy. They shouldn't have put out how they did. It needs to be
I just want I just want DC to kind of stop now and take a year or two out and really rethink what they're doing and come back.
They need to think. I love DC so much.
Their comics are my favourite. Out of Marvel and DC, it's DC. But their films, Marvel all the way, because DC have just not got it right at the moment. They really need to sort out their shit.
Out of TV series and cartoons,
DC. Yeah, it's weird. It's the constant.
Yeah, I mean DC have just been scared. They owned the like movie world and everything for so long. Yeah. And then Marvel came along and did a really good job. I just want a DC universe that succeeds.
They didn't expect it, and they've been trying to play catch up, and they need to stop trying to play catch up and just
do their own thing.
Just own thing. Yeah. Do what they know.
They've done so well with all their TV shows and animation, cartoons, and all that stuff. That it's like, take a leaf out of your own book and just be patient, breathe,
build up.
These
stories, this world.
Even if you don't want to start with the knowns like Batman Wonder Woman and Superman again. Just like put them on the back burner, build up some other characters, and then bring them in later on. Then give us a good fucking Justice League movie. That's all I want.
Yeah, they need to stop competing essentially with Marvel.
Totally
They're your
different
rivals,
entities.
but it's different.
Yeah,
and it needs to stop because you've got good stuff. Work with it.
Yeah.
This is a pep
Make
talk
it
for
work.
DC.
Exactly. They don't
got
need
this,
They don't
DC.
need to be rivals. That's the thing. People already love both of them.
They're both well established.
Like we do. And it's like, I just want to see DC succeed. So just calm yourself and
Wind your neck in.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. But
just
too late.
think about what you're doing. Set out a plan.
Yeah.
Do it.
Have the long term already
Yeah.
organised and set to, like, that's what Marvel succeeded at. They have had a long plan and they also had a formula that really works.
It's
DC,
been overdone,
however,
but it works.
But it works. But they've gone a bit better recently where they're allowed to actually vary it slightly and you're getting some even better, like, Marvel films now. But DC, what we've seen is, like, they did one film I personally really enjoyed, Man of Steel, good. But
Yeah, Man of Steel's underrated.
then when they did Batman vs Superman, they were trying to already skip ahead to do essentially their version of Civil War, I feel. Or that's how people would read it.
I disagree.
because of the
A lot of
time.
people did read it that way, but the only way I feel you can really successfully have Batman and Superman fight and have it make sense is when they first meet and they don't understand each other.
But
unless you start including mind.
Not, that's
not
true.
have them
Everyone
connect
kinda
too much.
Not having
read
them connect
it as
over
a
the,
thing.
having the same mum.
But
You know,
like
just-
they
I
kept
mean,
changing
that was a bit silly.
how they made these films, and you see that particularly when they go from Batman vs Superman to Justice League. Like all of a sudden, they tried really hard to do something that's kind of more comical in some regards, but they failed with it because they tried to also maintain their darkness with it. Then they went to do Aquaman, and from what you've said, it's much more light-hearted, and from the visual look of it, kind of makes me think it's more Marvel-esque, which is fine. It's just they're changing style a lot to try and appease an audience instead of having something themselves.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts on it in general.
Thanks. Yeah.
They are.
Well,
Anyway, that's it. That's it. Okay, we've done. Yeah, I guess to end this, is there anything else? I'd just like to say I've been
Scat.
I have been Scott. I've been reading the My Hero Academia manga Vigilantes,
I thought we were going.
which is a spin-off, and
Yeah, they're good.
yeah, I
they're
really
pretty-
enjoyed that. So I'd
I
recommend
also
reading
like
that.
the
then.
couple of pages in between where it talks about character design.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty interesting.
But yeah, that's what I've been reading and enjoying. So if you're looking for something to pick up,
And you like My Hero Academia.
exactly. I mean, they come about £5 on Amazon.
Yeah, it's cheap. It's a good read, and
Something I recently read, which links back to Hellboy, is Hellboy Wild Hunt, and that's the I don't think it's kind of might know the finalising a Hellboy story arc, and that's what the new film's based on. And it was an enjoyable read. And again, you can't fault Mike Mignola's artwork; it's beautiful.
Yeah, he's always been great.
Just
Good stuff.
even having little panels that just show details of the environment are great, and such an iconic look. So again, you have a chance, pick that up and get yourself educated, a bit of as to how this new film could go, and maybe that will sway you round to David Harbour's Hellboy.
yeah, I may have to pick that up,
Yeah.
or you can pass it along.
Yeah,
to me.
exactly.
I don't
I'll bring
see
it- I'll
why
bring it
I'd
round next
spend
time.
Money on it.
But until then, we've just been three brothers
Just
Yeah,
three
we're just
brothers.
three
Just
brothers.
talking geek.
Geek culture, geek stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you like that, please like, share, subscribe, follow us.
Check out our
And
website,
go to
www.geekvault.co.uk.
Sorry, what was
Please
that? We have a
support
website.
Yeah, we have a website
Please
where you can find
please support us.
our products, which we sell plenty of, but we also have
Like
a blog
Batman
post to it
toys.
where we talk more about other bits that we don't cover in the podcast, etc. So check that out at www.geekvault.co.uk.
And show us some love.
Please.
Please.
Please. A
Bye.
desperate cry.
Jingle, jingle.